and poignant what you were saying. And just for a brief moment, when I was pointing out about that, you're making that vow, and that's with the full knowledge. You know what that meant, but yet and still you were committed at that time, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So there was no ticket back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You were committed to that, and I see by your progress, the path that you've chosen, and your travels and the lives that you've touched, that you knew what you were getting into, and I believe that God is empowering you, and He's going to reveal more to you.
Well,
so that
certainly is.
That's what I'm thinking.
One of the blessings in my life, the greatest blessing in my life, just happened January 23rd of previous year, and that's my marriage to my wife. It took a long time for me to get married, and I'm glad that it did, because I needed to be in a position where I deserved the wife that God gave me. People say, why did you get married before now? I said, because I didn't deserve the wife I have. He was waiting for me to be worthy of the wife that He sent me. Now, when you have that kind of partnership, Michelle and I share a value that simply says, kites rise against the wind. It's a scientific rule. If you don't have opposition, then you can't rise. Barack Obama won the presidency with 57 million people voting against him. 57 million people did not vote for Barack Obama. We measure his success based on the people who have supported him. But we have to stop measuring success from the mansion down. We have to measure success, as the Bible does, from the manger up. So it's how you deal with the opposition in your life that determines how high you can fly, and your attitude while you're dealing with that opposition. Now, I understand that leaders, sincere leaders who have the condition of the people as a substratum to their movement, are to be crucified. And I understand that for an African American responsible leader, that crucifixion is real. That crucifixion goes on a daily basis out here in this society. But I believe because of where I learned to lead, which is in prison, I may be slightly better equipped than even those who have had a career in politics on the outside. And I'll tell you why. In prison, if you're the inmate spokesperson, for instance, there is absolutely no possibility that you will sell out. You're not going to go in the room with the warden and say one thing and go back to the general population, because in prison the consequences are very, very dangerous. And so he who becomes a leader in prison is generally very honest, very sincere, very well-meaning person who's working for the best for the people that he or she represents. They wear the same clothes, they eat the same food, and they desire the same qualities of life. Well, I suggest it should be the same in free society. That there ought to be a consequence, not violence, but there should be a consequence paid at the polls when a leader does not, in fact, represent the people behind the door as well as he or she does in front of the camera. And that's another reason that I decided to run for mayor. I think we've given up on a generation of young people. I think we have condemned them and said they are unredeemable. They are unreachable because we don't understand them, or we cannot talk to them, when the truth of the matter is young people today are not unredeemable. The leader must have the skill set and the desire to build a bridge between the youth and the elders. We've been successful in doing that here at Joshua Hart's Church. We've been successful in doing that across the United States of America. We will do that as it relates to the mayor's race in 2012.
Right, 2012.
Big year.
Big year, big year. You know, you were talking about, people perceiving our young people today as unredeemable. And I would even say they've been demonized to a sense as well. In my own neighborhood, Pastor D, I'm one of those ones similar to you. I don't put myself above anyone, you know, or anything like that. And I try to listen to whomever wants to speak. And our young people do want to speak. And the thing is, you know, you mentioned bridging gaps between, you know, and having communication lines. People, I listen to the different generations in my own neighborhood, and I know this is happening in others as well. Some people always talk about, oh, the young people today. But they're in a position, they can give some guidance if they would have a conversation. I ask them, I call them on it. I said, do you know their names? No, I don't know their names. Have you met their parents? No, I haven't met their parents. Well, what do you know about them? Oh, they doing that stuff. Yeah, no idea, man. No idea. Some of these kids, they live in the neighborhood. They don't have a car, so they hang around in the neighborhood. But they're not up to no good. It's not like that. So I would like to see that. I would like to see us put on some softer glove with one another in your own neighborhood and stop beating everybody down. What do you think?
Self-destruction is a learned behavior. There are historical reasons for why African American people treat each other the way they do. Many of those historical reasons are rooted in slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, going all the way back to the Willie Lynch experiment. Unfortunately, there are those in America who would make that reality a moot point and who would say it's an excuse or a crutch that we lean on as a people, when in fact we are still suffering from vestiges. I mean, it's only been 50 years since the COINTELPRO activities of Mr. J. Edgar Hoover and the others condemned the black community by bombarding it with drugs. So that we have a very recent history of a manipulated self-destructive behavior on the part of African American people. And now because we have an African American president, and now because we have a few jobs, people would expect it, well, you know, let's not talk about the ugliness of the past. That would be as ludicrous as forgetting the tyranny of Hitler's Germany against Jews, or the treatment of Indians under the leadership of Mr. Rockefeller and his band of smallpox blanket carrying oil thieves that took the land from the Indians. Of course we cannot forget the past because we would be destined to repeat it. However, my twist on it is that there is hope. When you kill hope, I'm more concerned about hope killers than I am about the Tea Party. I'm too busy making coffee with the people that have hope to worry about who's having tea over a party that is no fun. So when we lift up hope through inspiration, through revelation, through education, through demonstration, through voter registration, when we lift up hope, then we lift a community. Of course it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes hope to raise a village. And what we've got to do is put more creative energy in the creation of hope and less emphasis on the negativisms and our differences. I often say it this way, we got more common denominators than we got numerators. We just need to do the math on the right side of the book.